What's going on, everybody? It's Murph. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about our 1 month retrospect on Lord of the Rings: Heroes of Middle Earth. The game's been out for 1 month officially as of yesterday. Since like the full release, like obviously other people have gotten like early access, been able to play the game a little bit longer. But for the vast majority of us, the game's been out for like a month and a day. And I kind of want to talk about like pros, cons, what I like about the game, what I don't like about the game, and then kind of like where our account is at 1 month in as a strictly free to play account with this one. So let's get into it. So like number one, right? The number one thing I've heard people complain about this game is that there's no content in it, and like yeah, there really isn't a lot of content right now. All you can do is level and build your teams. Um, and the crazy thing is that's because the game just released. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes had nothing in the game when it first released. Marvel Strike Force, I think, had like 2 legendary events when the game first released, but it was a long time until anybody was able to even access them, and they were garbage. Like, we're already building towards, like, 1 month in, our first legendary character release event, and there's already been one marquee. We got a second one coming very quickly. We've got a raid coming, I believe, next month. Like, there's stuff coming. I don't know why people are fucking surprised that there's nothing out yet. Like, I don't know what you thought you were getting with the Hero Collector game that was brand new. Like, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes is out. Territory Wars wasn't in the game when it first started. Territory Battles wasn't in the game when it first started. Grand Arena wasn't in the game when it first started. Galactic Conquest was not in the game. Fleets wasn't like 90% of the current available content in Marvel Strike Force and Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes was not in the game at release. And like AP Games put out like a really good video on it. I know not whatever. Like I don't talk about other content creators a whole lot, whether positive or negative on this channel, but like he put out a video that really spoke to, like what I was thinking at the time is that people are quitting, mobile gamers quitting. Who gives a fuck about that? Like, I don't value someone's opinion who spends thousands and thousands of dollars on mobile games. Sit there and whine, bitch, complain about a gotcha game being a gotcha game. Like, what the fuck did you expect the game was gonna be? Honestly, um, like I think what people are really upset about with this game, quite frankly, is that they want to spend money on this game, but it seems like because there's not as many good deals as there were in Marvel Strike Force, and the fact that there's not as many things comparatively like today in this game as there are Marvel or Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes to be able to go out and farm and do that, like they're kind of mad their money isn't getting them as far as they want their money to get them, because ultimately you can spend money to get character shards, to farm, to get energy, to farm gear, like whatever, but for what point? Because there's nothing in the game, like we were just talking about, right? So like I think that's what they're pissed off about. Personally, they're spending money and their money's not really giving them a competitive edge unless they're like spending enough money to be at the very top of like the first arena chart, which is fucking obnoxious. What you should be focusing on right now, and something I've talked in both guildmates in this guild and my mains guild about, is that this is like the one time in this game's lifetime where there's no meta. Like, you can say, oh, Rohan meta, Isengard meta, farming for Elrond, but like Elrond's not out yet. Rohan and Isengard are only meta because they were like the only team, that's the only synergistic teams you could farm early on. The meta right now is just out leveling and out gearing other people. That's it. And then being active and still playing the game. There is no formal meta as far as like, this team is the meta team to run. This team's going to come out and counter the meta. And then this team's in development is going to come out, and eventually we're just going to keep chasing these teams as it goes on. That's how these games work, right? The best character and the best team is the one that isn't out yet. That's how they keep money coming in. That's how they keep attention going in the game. Anyways, none of that is here yet. So you have the flexibility to be able to go through and farm whatever characters you want, invest in whatever characters you want. And you know what? Maybe you won't get Elrond the first time around, or maybe you won't get the Witch King the first time around, but who cares? Like, this is your time to level, gear, and develop your overall roster in, you know, in order for you to be prepared for the raid to come out in the near future, which, if I'm not mistaken, is one of the first things I said, like, with the game coming out, is that there's nothing out right now. There's no new Sith fleet meta to farm for. There's no apocalypse to farm for. I don't even know what the fuck's going on in Marvel Strike Force anymore, to be honest. But you can do whatever you want ultimately. And kind of with that being said, I know some of the other things that people have complained about with the game is like the art style, right? Like they think the graphics are dog shit. And to be honest, I think the graphics are only bad because these content creators are really like they're playing on BlueStacks. First off, BlueStacks doesn't perform nearly as well as you playing on an actual iOS or Google device, right? Like an actual Android or iPhone. BlueStacks sucks. Um, just gonna say it. BlueStacks sucks. It's nice to be able to sit down on a computer and play the game, but performance-wise, it sucks. But on top of that, like you're blowing it up to full screen. You're taking something that's meant to be played on a screen that's this big. You're playing on a screen that's this big. Feel me? The resolution doesn't change. You're stretching all those pixels out, and it's gonna look even worse. And I get it. It's 2023. There are other mobile games out there in the market that you can stretch to that resolution and make it look better, and it makes this game look cheap in comparison. But ultimately, again, it's a mobile game. What the fuck did you think you were getting? Like, did you drop $70 to get the new Star Wars fucking game? The new, what is it, Star Wars Jedi Survivor or whatever? No, you didn't do that. You downloaded a game in which 99% of the player base plays it for free and doesn't put any money in it. Like, what did you expect you were getting? AAA? It's not a AAA studio developing it. Yeah, people, it never ceases to amaze me. Like, it shouldn't surprise me, but it always does. Like, honestly, how just dumb and quick to anger a lot of like the hero collector community is in general. Like, I love you guys so much, and like I share a passion for these games as you do, but like, there's a content creator back in Marvel Strike Force. I don't know what he's doing or how he's doing now. That was great. He used to always say like the predatory mobile game. Like, what the fuck did you expect? And that's kind of how I feel about it. Like, it's like, dude, these games are meant to take advantage of neurodivergent people, people with addictive personalities, and kids who have access to their parents' credit cards in order to make money for the studios. That's their bottom line. They wouldn't develop this game if they didn't want to make money off of it, right? Like, Lord of the Rings just happened to be one of the largest IPs that doesn't have a game of this type out yet. So, like, I'm just happy we have the fucking game, personally. As far as it's, like, getting away from kind of the negativity, I am really enjoying this game. I'm enjoying the fact that, you know, we got just enough kind of big name characters like Eomer, Strider. Elro here isn't a big character ultimately, but you know, we've got Frodo, we've got Sam, we got Merry Pippin, we got some minor characters in the books like Elro here, Halbarad, but there's a lot of characters like Bolg. There's a lot of characters that aren't here yet that like are going to be coming to the game, and I think this was such a smart IP, really for them to be able to take, kind of like Marvel Strike Force, be like, okay, well, like there's enough factions here where we can develop kind of minion type characters, you know, like Lomion, Leliel, like they're not actual characters in the books, but we can kind of develop a generic character, slap some bullshit name on it, and call it good. And then you can save like a lot of named characters for more, you know, your marquee, your legendary events and whatnot. I'm very interested to see kind of how far down the rabbit hole they're able to go, because obviously, you know, we've got a Rohan team, so I would assume that's going to eventually lead to a Theoden type event. You know, we've got Strider, we got the Fellowship coming out soon, so, you know, we're going to see Gandalf the Grey eventually. Is that going to be a legendary event? Is that going to be tied to Moria? We're going to eventually, I'm sure, get Gandalf the White, but, you know, how do we unlock Gandalf the White, right? One of the really interesting things that I've been thinking about is, like, we have, on the Shadow side, we've got these giant characters, right? Like, if you go to your actual roster and you're prepping a team to go into a battle, it'll tell you, hey, this slot is used for your oversized characters, right? So like Giant's Burden. Where is it? Yeah, I guess maybe it doesn't say anything in the tooltip for the actual character, but essentially, like, because it's a giant character, they take increased damage from two-handed weapons, but you can only have one giant character on your team. And as of right now, like the only giant characters in the game are the trolls. There's no light side giant characters. So kind of like what characters um here we go, large. It's not giant, it's large. So the only large characters in the game are the two trolls and the Great Goblet. I didn't even realize Great Goblet had a large tag on him. But there's no light side one. So like, does that mean we're getting Ents at some point in the future, or are the Maiar like Gandalf, or potentially even like a light side like a light side Saruman, or maybe like Bjorn, Beorn from The Hobbit, the like shapeshifter dude. Or yeah, like there's a lot of interesting ways they could go. Tom Bombadil, even maybe, the Eagles, that you could go to have like light side large characters. I kind of like that idea. I'm really my biggest thing with this game is I think where it stands is there's a lot of potential for expansion for the future, and I'm very very excited for it. Really, um, I'm really excited for it. One thing that yeah, yeah, that's really all I've got to say. I wish there was a bit more flexibility about what we're able to farm in the stores, because ultimately there's only 2 to 3 characters in each store right now. But I'm sure that'll expand as more characters get added to the game. And I'm very interested to see kind of what the actual release cadence looks like. And we'll be following that with the channel as more characters come out, and as these marquee characters like Arwen and eventually Elladan become free to play. We will be tracking like the timeline that it'll take for them to go from like announcement to marquee release to farmable via whatever route they have. It's something we did back in Marvel Strike Force, and it was a way that we were kind of able to accurately predict when characters would become farmable, or when events would come back around. And that's even another thing that we don't have in the game yet that I'm sure is going to be developed. If you go into your adventures, all we've got is Sam's Gardener's Journey. We've got Dark Relics, or not Dark Relics. We got our daily challenges, and we got a raid. One thing we don't have yet is actual like weekly or monthly events. So like in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, you've got your assault battles, and you've got like your credit heist and everything else. We don't have any of that yet in this game, and that's kind of a staple for these types of hero collector games. So I'm sure that'll come out at some point in the near future. But it kind of circles back to, again, like, because there's no raid, so there's no raid teams. There's no events or like faction specific events. There is no meta, and there's no knowing which direction we should be building in, unless you're directly pursuing something like Elrond right now, or you're buying into the data mines for farming Haradrim for the eventual Witch King release. There's really no like guaranteed like this is the path for you to build for success, for long-term success in these games, in this game. So like, honestly, like where I'm at with this account right now is we're just we've still got, for our Shadow team, I really haven't touched anything with Shadow, and I'll show you in a second, like just to prove it. We'll pull up Ugluk here, and let's take a look at how many Shadow crystals we have saved up right now. We've got 33. I have literally just been farming all of them up and just holding it, because I don't have the crystal income right now to be burning on additional farming and resources, or gear for that matter. So I'm really not worried about pushing the campaigns right now with this account. What I'm focusing on is I want to see if I can hoard up enough gems on this account. We're at 1,500 right now. We're getting about 200-ish a day. I want to see if we can farm up enough in order to get to like 5,000-6,000 gem mark, and be able to fully purchase Elladan's gem packs free to play, and get them to 5 stars in order to go for a 5-star Elrond unlock free to play on the first go around. So obviously, to go with that, we are working on our elf characters and our elf team. So we've finished farming Elric here to 5 stars. We're done with him. We're working on Naramiri right now. We've got him to 2 stars. And then Lomion and Leliel, we're basically farming them with 1 refresh every single day. So we're doing the first 5 attempts, refreshing for 25 gems, then doing a second one. And it is eating into our gem production for the Elladan purchases eventually. But if we don't do that, we're never going to be able to farm these characters out in enough time. So, and the reason I'm doing this and saving these gems for Elladan is because I'm a little skeptical that I'm going to have enough gems to get Elladan to 5 stars for Elrond the first time around, and I'm also skeptical that we're going to be able to get Lomion and Leliel to 5 stars the first time around. So what we're doing in the meantime is we are building Elro here, and I am currently working on farming and building up the rest of our Ranger faction. We're very close to having Halbrad. We should have him unlocked this week through the rest of the challenge materials in order to purchase them from the challenge store soon. We're still farming up Miri. We've got all of them at Gear 5, working to push Gear 6 with a few of them. I believe we've got Strider Gear 6, Elro here, Gear 6, and then Miri's Gear 5. And the reason I'm doing this is because I kind of want to Babe Ruth this and call my shot. But I think what the game plan is going to be is that whereas Rohan is the early game free-to-play meta for you to farm and focus because they're all available early game and they're very good at low ability levels, I think that Rangers is going to be the free-to-play team once Elden comes out. I really, really do. And what basically, I'm either going to take off flying with this account, or we're gonna drown and we're gonna stay on the captain of our ship while it's sinking. And fuck it, it doesn't matter. That literally nothing I just said made sense, but we're gonna go with that. Basically, I'm putting all my eggs in the Elrond basket right now. It's free to play, and it's probably not going to work out. But if it doesn't, at least we'll have Elden unlocked and built up to maybe like 4 stars free to play, and we'll be able to take that and pivot right into a free to play Ranger squad and run that. I'm currently running Rangers on my main account. I have all 4 Rangers, and then I'm running a 5-star Arwen in place of Elden right now on it because I dolphined a little bit for the Arwen event on that account. And I'm actually doing better in Arena than I was doing running Rohan or Rohan Isengard. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but that's kind of the route that I think I'm gonna go right now. Is that I think it's a very, very safe route for you to build Elra here right now, build Strider, build Arwen, or not Arwen, sorry, Eladin once he comes out, and then you can take Elra here and Eladin and eventually pivot that right into your Rivendell team if you're able to actually get the elves for Elrond, you know, the second time around. So yeah, aside from that, other things that I think that I am doing right now is I'm kind of just messing around, farming out other characters as I can. So, like, obviously, Eomer, Eowyn, we were farming originally along with Eothane. Nurez is part of our shadow team along with Gaz and Dunhar, so we were farming them. But I've also, with some of the store farms, gone out unlocked Wubite, Shagrat, Golbers, and through unlocking them, I'm kind of, I don't have the extra energy right now to go out and farm other characters from campaign farms. But from all the store farms, I am diligently working to make sure that I at least unlock all of these store characters. Like once we unlock Halbrad, we're going to be going after Bolg for a little while. And that's just to make sure that we have as many characters unlocked and we have as flexible of a roster as possible for once the raid comes out, so we can contribute to our guild's raid progress as much as possible as early as possible as well. So that us and our guild can get more rewards, and 2, we can get more personal rewards within those guild rewards. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. Let me know down in the comments, guys, like, what is your account looking like? What level are you at? I know I'm definitely like a few levels behind the curve right now because I stopped spending extra energy refreshes or stopped spending gems on energy refreshes like a little over a week ago. I think I'm like 3 levels behind my main account right now. But ultimately, again, it doesn't matter. Like, we're all gonna hit 60 at some point. Just enjoy the ride for now. And if you guys are enjoying the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video to help out the algorithm, get it in front of a few more people. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys are building, what you're working on. Are you guys going for Elrond? Are you going for Rangers? Have you guys tried any other Shadow teams yet? That's one thing I'd really like to hear from you guys is, like, Shadow teams, everyone seems to still be on, you know, the Isengard train, but I'm very interested to see how, you know, Bolg is going, if anybody has him, or if Shagrat is going well. So anyways, that's it. I'm out of here. Love you, bye.